If you've ever felt like your entries are just a bit early or your exits are a bit late, this video might fix that today. Because once you understand how the volume profile shapes the context of the market, the entire picture becomes clearer, especially when volatility expands. Welcome to Volume Profile Part 2. In this video, we're taking everything from Part 1 and stepping it up with a real trade example, including the actual executions. And we're bringing in a member from the trade desk to talk about how real traders behave when volatility begins to expand. Just like we broke down in the auction market theory video, the market is always operating in one of two states: balance or imbalance, also known as price discovery. Volume profile shows us where trading activity actually occurred at specific prices. It's volume by price, not volume by time. Each horizontal line is called a volume node. The larger the node, the more trading activity happened at that level. The single largest node, the level with the most traded volume, is the point of control. That's where the market clearly agreed on value. Why? Doesn't matter. It just tells us that buyers and sellers were most active there, and that's where most important decisions were made. And if that's where decisions are being made, I want to be involved around those levels. Understanding this helps you see how volatility shifts traders' behaviors, exposing emotions, habits, and reactions that become much more obvious around key volume profile levels. Now, here's where the other week gets interesting. Come Tuesday, the market ripped all the way up to our value area low. And from that point, one of two things can happen. Price accepts back inside our value or rejects it. I thought we were rejecting value, so I got short. And I was stopped out a couple minutes later for about 17 points. And here's the most important part. I didn't stop out just to manage risk. I did it because the market was doing the exact opposite of my thesis. And once that happens, no other questions matter. Fast forward about 2 hours, the market rotates back down into the same value area low. But this time, we get long 25,552. Why? Because the market had proven it was in balance. Buyers and sellers continue to treat that area as fair value. And when we rotated back into the value area low, after taking in that new information, we had a lot more conviction to pull the trigger, especially because it looked like the market wanted to break lower, meaning shorts could get trapped and longs could get shaken out. Either way, it strengthened the long. We caught 98 points on the move, over 5 times what we lost on the first attempt. Now, those 2 trades were just 2 out of the 8 that we took that week. But here's the key point. Sometimes the market will give you multiple opportunities off the same levels if it's still acknowledging that value area. Wednesday proved that again. We sold off below the value area low, and I took the bait again. Same trap, same look. Those naked swing lows were just too tempting. But once I realized the market wasn't ready to break lower, I flipped long again. That trade ended up catching about 150 points to the upside. All of that came from keeping my thesis in check and listening to what price was telling me. There were plenty of reasons to think lower, but price is king. If the market is trading higher than you expected, you're wrong. And the faster you accept that, the better. It's like holding a rope that's sliding through your hands. It's only going to keep burning you until you let it go. So if you're in a trade that's working against you, just let it go. And what if I told you we took 2 more longs the next day at that same 25,507 level for another 150 points on the week? Think about that. 4 long opportunities from the same price level in a single week. That's the market agreeing on value. That's the market saying, this is fair. This is where we do business. So by the time we came into Friday, we weren't too surprised if we finally broke out of balance. And that's exactly what happened. Friday morning, price broke to the upside, came back to retest the value area high, and that gave us our final long of the week, pulling another 130-point move. So to recap the entire week, we took 8 trades total, 6 green trades for about 532 points, 2 red trades for about 47 points, which net us about 485 points on the week. Now, not every week is going to be this efficient, and we're not going to pretend this is normal, but what is consistent is how trader behavior shifts when volatility increases. And that's why I brought in one of the top reps from the trade desk to talk about what they see from customers every single time the market starts to speed up.
Yeah, I would say something that people would definitely not expect is a lot of customers size up their positions as volatility increases. So it's mostly will think that, like as volatility is increasing, people will get scared, maybe lay back. If you're already short a lot of volatility, you're like, why would I need to get more short? But sometimes that's when we'll see a lot of the customers actually size up their positions to where they can really make an impact on that short volatility play. I would say most customers are getting more active as there's a trend. A lot of the customers will be like, the trend is your friend. Is that the best trading strategy? It's different for every individual, but I would say that's when we see the most activity and the most volume. Yeah, I would say the biggest mistake that we see on the desk is customer oversizing their positions and trying to force a trade when they don't see an opportunity. Those are always the worst losses that you hate to take, is because, if the stock wins. But then if you're not following your mechanics to your strategy, that's the most frustrating. Yeah, I would say what separates those traders is that there's the ones that are waiting for the opportunity longer and not forcing trades. And then there's the customers that are always just wanting to trade no matter what because they think there's an opportunity. The most successful traders that we see are the ones that wait the longest and then really size up their positions when there's an actual opportunity. I would say what we see constantly is how sometimes not scary margin calls can be. When there's assignment on an option spread, there could be a really large requirement for the shares, but the defined risk is still the same for the spread. So you can just get out of the position by closing it, and you don't necessarily need to deposit way more than the account value to solve the margin call.